Hi, everybody. I am starting finally my Christmas journal series for 2021. So, I've been doing these for a few years now. If you haven't seen any of my previous ones, they'll be linked down below, or you can find them in my playlist section. But basically, every Christmas, I do sort of a month long, if not even longer than that, because I usually start in November, sort of Christmas journal just to record the memories for the season. I don't actually keep sort of scrapbook memory journals the rest of the year. I do like sometimes dabble in it and I do a little bit every now and then. But I tend to just do it at Christmas because I just love all of the Christmas ephemera. And I suppose I was initially inspired by the December Daily thing and junk journals in general. And I do like a nice Christmas junk journal. So I do a sort of a junk journal style thing every year, but I change every year. I change my techniques every year. Um, and this year, I'll show you what I'm going to do. So this year, I started off doing what I normally do when I first start my sort of Christmas project thing. And I did this way back in August. And that was to sort of gather all of my inspirational pictures, like things I'm interested in this year, a kind of, working out what sort of a theme I might be going for. And I do that by getting images from Pinterest. I might find images on Instagram. I might already have those images saved in my scrapbooks. And I just sort of gather them all together and admire them. Stick them all down. I printed off a load onto sticker paper here, and they're going to all go in my Christmas scrapbook. So I've been keeping a Christmas scrapbook in a Moleskine notebook for several years now, and it just serves as a sort of a place to stick down all of my images that I'm using to work from. So different years will have different themes. I had a lot of pictures of teacups and pots and crockery because I did like a Christmas crockery theme a few years back. Last year I kind of went for more like toadstools and mushrooms and pixie type thing. And this year I suppose I was mostly inspired by sort of like Christmas sparkly, cocktaily, sort of cozy in the house with the tree in the background and having a nice comforting drink kind of theme. And I don't know where this came from. I suppose last year because I did a lot of toadstools and a lot of sort of naturey pixie type things, I was kind of feeling a need to do something a little bit more synthetic. What do I mean? I mean like a bit more glittery and a bit more like, I don't know, over the top, shiny, sparkly stuff, which isn't actually something I normally go for. I do normally go for a more sort of natural theme. But this year I was feeling like I wanted to do something a bit more sparkly and a bit more, perhaps a little bit more adult, but like not really. I don't know. Anyway, so you can see here that these are the pictures I'm going for. So on the first sheet I have here, a lot of these are sort of pictures of cocktails and trays and sort of anything that's sort of sparkly. I do have a few sort of random things printed out, like Christmas fairy, because it is on my list of things I wanted to do this year was to decorate a Christmas fairy I have. It's a little wooden peg doll that my granny painted the face of, and I believe probably my granddad actually built, like carved the body out of wood. So it's sort of like a joint effort for both my grandparents. My granddad passed away last year, so it's been a year since he died now, and I've had this poor little fairy without any clothes on for a couple of years now. And the tree topper that we have on our tree is like this. It's just like a big star with glitter, and the glitter gets everywhere, and it drives me up the wall. And it just, I don't know. I don't particularly have any fond sentimental attachment to it. So I was thinking perhaps this year I would dress up the fairy and give her a nice dress, and I don't know what I'm going to do it out of. I've no idea. But I thought that might be a nice project for this year, like my craft project to work on. So I do have a few pictures of like fairies and things that I've printed out. And I might make a few decorations as well, other decorations with like um, paper dresses, like concertinaed paper. And I've seen quite a few pictures of little fairy or cherub, I suppose, angel decorations using paper. So I'm thinking having a go at one of those as well. And on this second sheet, you can see a lot of pictures of Christmas trees with a sort of a bokeh effect. The bokeh, I think, is when you're taking a photo of something with sparkly lights and you somehow get that effect of all the lights being like little circles. I'm not a photography expert. I might have a go at it at some point. If I do, I'll let you know. I'll show you. Perhaps when I've got my Christmas tree set up. So I really like those photos with the bokeh in the background, and I like the idea of, sitting cozy with your feet up with a nice cocktail, or, a fruity drink if you don't drink alcohol, or a trifle. And then I started getting into trifles, and there was lovely pictures of lots of nice trifles and berry colours. So you can see this is kind of this is the sheet that is informing my sort of colour scheme for this year. And this sheet here, again, there's a few more cocktaily, sort of sparkly things. A lot of this is vintage images, I think from the 70s or the 60s. Probably the 60s, I think a lot of those cards are. And I just really like the crazy colour schemes in them. And I had this picture of some buttons that I'd seen on a secondhand selling site. And once I saw these buttons, I started thinking about Christmas. So in a way, that button picture was the first thing that sort of got me thinking about Christmas colour schemes and things. I didn't buy the buttons, but I just printed off the picture. So you can see a lot of sort of purples, purpley colours in those buttons. And in those vintage images, you can see there's quite a lot of bluey, purpley colours. So that definitely informed my colour scheme thinking for this year. So the next thing I do, once I have all my images that I'm inspired by, I then get them all on the computer and I start to make colour palettes. So the way I do a colour palette is I just have a photo up in Photoshop and I use the tool called the eyedropper tool. And the eyedropper tool, whenever you click on any colour or any area of an image, it will pick up the colour from that pixel, whichever one you happen to have landed on. So I go through each image and I pick up the colors from the images by clicking all over the image, and then I use the brush tool to then just put blobs down of that color on a different file. And this way I can go through all of the pictures and get sort of like a color scheme that I like from each one of them. And it's just a simple way to kind of if you have a picture and you love all the colors and you want to kind of replicate those colors, of just going in and directly taking some of those colors. Now there is a lot of flexibility involved, because no matter where you put your eyedropper tool, you can pick up, if you just move a tiniest fraction to the right or the left, you'll pick up a different color. So you sort of have to click around a bit until you get a color that you want, that you feel sort of reflects the image and the colors that you're enjoying in that image. But yeah, you just play around, pick them up, and then plonk them back down again on a separate sheet. So once I've done that with all of the images, I then end up with quite a few different color schemes. And you can see looking at them that they're a bit different. Some of them are similar and some of them are completely out there and completely different. And it's a really interesting exercise to do, actually, because you'll find that some images end up with the same color schemes and you're like, oh, well, that's why I quite like both of those images. But after I've done that, I've got all these random color schemes. I then I cut them all up and I spread them all out and I picked out ones that I like the most. And then again, I went back in with my color dropper and I picked out the colors from each of them, all of them. I sort of did a hybrid version. So I didn't just do one color scheme from one photo. I took a color from wherever I wanted to take a color from. And I've ended up with this color palette. Now, I do this every year when I'm making a journal or when I'm designing any of my collage sheets or anything. I always make a color palette, and I don't always feel like sticking to it. But I find that I sort of enjoy having the option of being limited if I need to. Because there are so many colors in the universe that you could use. And sometimes I find the options a little bit overwhelming. So I just give myself the opportunity to not have to make that choice every time I design something. And it means that if I then make a load of collage sheets to sell in my Etsy shop, which I have done this year and I've been doing for a few years now, it means that they all sort of work together. So if anybody wants to buy all the collage sheets and some of the design stickers and things like that, or the advent date numbers, they will all match with each other. They're not all going to be completely like crazy color schemes all over the place. So I have this color scheme. And what I do is I have obviously a digital copy. I then also print a copy off to kind of go in my bag. So if I'm out and I see some paper or some like ephemera and I think, oh, that would look really nice in my Christmas journal, I can sort of, if I'm dithering between which colour papers to get or whatever, I can pull out my little colours chart and I can sort of see which colours I want to get and what's going to match together. Now, I don't really care if things don't match. If you've seen any of my journals before, you'll see that like sometimes I just don't pay any attention to things matching and I just put any old thing in. But I do enjoy just having this colour palette ready just to kind of help me make decisions. So I think I've kind of whittled on enough about colour palettes for now. But that's kind of the gist of this video. I just wanted to quickly go through the very first stage of where I start when I'm making a Christmas journal. So if anybody is considering making a journal this year and you don't know where to start and you want to do it more like creatively, like you want to do like make your own collage sheets, or you want to use more paint, or you want to kind of make a journal from scratch and have it really personal, so not just using shop bought collage sheets or like pre-made sets, which is absolutely totally fine if you want to do that, obviously, but if you want to kind of have a bit more control yourself over what goes in it, then this is a really good place to start. And actually it's quite just a fun exercise to do anyway. If you have a load of Christmas images and you love them, is just to kind of have play around and see what colours are in there. If you don't have Photoshop, you might be able to do this with another program. I don't know what programs are available. Photoshop you do have to pay for, but you can get a free trial, I think, from Adobe online. So if you've never used it before, it might be worth looking into that. The other option is to just use your eyes and use your paint set or use the pens. So have a look at the picture and just have a look at one area of colour and then try and replicate that colour using pens or pencils or paint, and just play around. And it's just a really nice exercise in sort of learning about colour and learning about which colours you're attracted to, and you can get yourself a nice interesting Christmassy colour theme. So this is the first stage. This is my first video on my Christmas journal, and I'll be back very shortly with the next stage, which will be making the cover. The next stage in my process is to decide on the format of my journal and make up the cover. So that video is going to be coming up shortly as soon as I've edited it and done all the voiceovers and everything. So I hope you join me for the next one. So hope you're feeling Christmassy, and I will see you soon. Bye.